If you're a Subaru enthusiast in Colorado, or actually, maybe just anyone who lives in Colorado, lock your car and set the alarm. Charles Ohl, an administrator of the Simply Subies Colorado group, told Denver 7 News that at least 10 members have reported having their Pride and Joy vehicles stolen during the past week, with even more thefts occurring during the past month. Simply Subies Colorado, which counts more than 1,600 members in its Facebook group, is attempting to raise awareness of these thefts and mobilize members to help search for the missing cars. As of now, if I'm not mistaken, there are anywhere between 10 to 15 cars in the club that are currently stolen, Ohl told Denver 7. Not to mention the close to 20 that have been found in various states of disassembly this past month. Police have already recovered 2 of the stolen cars, one with a hole in the engine, the other completely stripped down, according to Ohl. Simply Subies Colorado is hoping to prevent a similar fate from befalling more of their members and their cars. Subarus are extremely popular in Colorado. Upgraded parts from WRX and STI models, as well as aftermarket performance parts added to any model by enthusiasts, could make thieves a fair bit of money as long as they're not caught. At first glance, this rash of thefts may seem similar to the strings of Jeep and Dodge thefts that happened in Houston and San Diego over the past 2 years. But there is no known way to hack into a Subaru and start it without a key, unlike the FCA ignition system. The cars also appear to be remaining in Colorado, rather than being sent to Mexico as in the FCA thefts.
The Nissan S13 is one of the most sought-after chassis. Like the SW20, the S13 is lightweight and dependable. While the 240SX received the underpowered KA engine in North America, the rest of the world benefited from the turbocharged SR20 DET. The Silvias, as they are known as in Japan, are often swapped with General Motors' LS small block, or in this case, Toyota's bulletproof 2JZ. Has it been done before? Yes. What's different about this one? For starters, this car is blue. It also took the owner 2 years to complete. The owner, David Patterson, or as you might recognize him, that Dudane Blue, spent a considerable amount of time and effort building his dream import. It all started with a 1992 40SX with 240,000 miles in Atlanta. David originally dropped in a twin-turbo 2JZ, but due to constant overheating issues, the motor blew up after a 500-mile road trip. He then decided to go with a single-turbo setup. With the new turbocharger installed, it makes full boost at just 3,300 RPMs. The car produces 509 horsepower and 470 pounds-ft of torque on pump gas. With a fresh coat of Ford Grabber blue paint, this S13 is once again new. Beyond that, the list of modifications is long but carefully selected. As David puts it, it's just fun. No argument there.
Subaru's modern portfolio makes it seem like the firm's iconic WRC exploits happened a very long time ago. However, while niche high-performance models may now be a rarity, since the manufacturer ramped up its SUV focus in 2012, its sales records have been broken each year. The Japanese car maker's latest SUV, the Subaru XV, is significant because it, along with the new Impreza, will be built on the new Subaru Global platform, which will underpin Subaru's important wave of new models. The XV is a new car from the ground up, with this new platform, revised engines and transmission, as well as a fresh design inside and out, in an attempt to make it competitive in a tough class in a way that the previous model never was. Dynamically, the revisions have made it much sharper to drive than its predecessor. Our time with the car was restricted to a short test track and an off-road route, so its on-road behavior remains to be judged, but on track the stiffer chassis makes it noticeably more agile than the previous model. Turn-in is especially crisper, body roll is well controlled, and the steering has a good weight to it, although feedback remains limited. The naturally aspirated 2.0-liter boxer engine has had 80% of its parts redesigned and is said to be more efficient. We are still waiting for official numbers to see by how much, but while it feels more urgent in its acceleration, it still doesn't feel quick. There's no longer a manual option, but the new CVT is 7.8 kilograms lighter than the previous unit and keeps progress relatively smooth. You're better off keeping it in auto rather than using the paddle shifters to cycle through the 7 simulated gears. However, the engine still revs very harshly under heavy acceleration. In normal driving it's pretty hushed, and refinement is generally better for the new car. Other SUVs, such as the Seat Chica and BMW X1, ultimately offer a more polishing driving experience and a better choice of power plants. Subaru isn't offering its previous 2.0-liter diesel variant with this car, so you have this or a smaller 1.6-liter petrol to choose from. It's a shame, and seems odd, because the old diesel unit was our favorite for the car, and it's goodzier than this petrol. The platform can take a diesel unit, we're told, so if there is sufficient demand then Subaru would consider offering an oil burner. Thrashing round the track is unlikely to be high on the priority list for the standard XV buyer. More likely, the SUV will have to drag its way through a muddy field, and it's very well prepared for that. Like all Subarus, apart from the rear-drive BRZ, the XV gets all-wheel drive as standard and now has X mode, which optimizes the AWD system for slippery surfaces and includes hill descent control. It'll go farther off-road than most rivals, and that helps the XV stand out in a crowded class of style over substance competitors. Inside, it gets a much-needed update that has banished the button-heavy dash in place of a slicker touchscreen infotainment system set up with better quality materials. We don't know precisely what equipment will be offered, or even what trim levels will be available, but Subarus are typically kid-laden at every level, so you can expect the 8.0-inch touchscreen as standard. We do know that all models will get Subaru's automatic emergency braking system, EyeSight, and the Japanese model scored exceptionally highly for crash testing in Asia, so it's likely that it will also impress with Euro NCAP. As for space, there's masses of legroom in the rear, but the boot is a little more paltry. While it is undoubtedly better than its predecessor, UK specification and pricing are yet to be announced, so it's hard to be definitive on where the XV lies among its current rivals. Its improved dynamics and genuine no-nonsense off-road ability give it a fighting chance of broader interest, although a lack of a diesel option could hamper its success in the UK.
The all-new 2017 Nissan Armada was introduced last summer. TFLTRUCK and Car reviewed it at the press launch in California, here in Colorado on our famous Gold Mine Hill Off-Road Challenge, and even at our high-altitude 0 to 60 mph test facility. But this is the first time we gave it a real-world test, taking it on a 956-mile road trip between Denver and Buffalo, Wyoming and back, hauling a family of 4 in a week's worth of stuff. Nissan scrapped the old Armada based on the last-gen Titan pickup and made the new Armada out of its legendary Nissan Patrol SUV, which has given Toyota's Land Cruiser a run for its money for years. If the body looks familiar, it is. Infiniti, Nissan luxury division, started selling the QX80 version more than 4 years ago. The Nissan Armada Platinum Edition reviewed here came with a sticker price of $60,985.00, destination charge included. Yes, that is a lot of coin, but it includes a DVD player with 2 headrest video screens for the second-row seats, acres of leather on the trim, dash, and seats, 20-inch wheels, vented seats, heated steering wheel, towing package, heated second-row seats, power rear liftgate and power third-row seats, 360-degree camera view, and more. Credit to Nissan for not shirking when it comes to value and interior luxury. Many of my family were flabbergasted that we were in a Nissan. not an Infiniti. And a quick look pricing for comparably equipped Infiniti turned up a MSRP that was, gulp, $20,000 more than the Nissan. Nissan's new 5.6-liter V8 powers the Armada, pumping out a meaty 390 horsepower and 394 pounds-ft of torque that flows through a 7-speed automatic transmission to the 4WD system. Towing capacity is rated at 8,500 pounds. At sea level, Nissan claims a 0 to 60 mph time of under 7 seconds, which is fast considering how big and heavy this SUV is. Curb weight, 5,800 pounds. Andre from TFLTRUCK clocked a 7.5 second 0 to 60 mph time in the Armada here at 5,280 feet elevation. All that power was welcome out in the empty West, where Utah and Wyoming have stretches of interstate with 80 mph speed limits that translate into people ripping along at 85. At those speeds the Armada hummed along easily at around 2,000 RPMs and did it despite hauling around 700 pounds of passengers and luggage and the weight of 26 gallons of unleaded gas that it was slowly using up. Really, the only evidence of stress came with the Armada's fuel economy. Over hundreds of miles at 75 to 80 plus miles an hour, the V8 averaged 16.4 mpg. By comparison, its EPA numbers are 13 mpg city/18 mpg highway/15 mpg combined. Not great, but not unexpected. When I got off the empty interstate and into stop-and-go city traffic, the sheer size of the 8-passenger SUV with its truck-like frame, height, and weight came to the fore. Sudden swerve-induced body roll and hard braking forced the nose to dive. I'm stating the obvious here, but this SUV isn't made for aggressive driving on city streets. Yet time and time again, I found myself lulled into thinking it was by how smoothly it rode and how easily it handled interstate cruising. I did venture onto several miles of gravel roads outside the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming, but nothing that warranted locking the truck into 4WD or getting full use out of the vehicle's 9.2 inches of ground clearance. As I said at the onset, the Armada is based on the Patrol, an overland vehicle of choice for many around the globe. So the option to lock the vehicle in 4WD high, 4WD low wasn't a surprise, but the lack of a locking diff was. I've never gotten a straight answer as to why this is the case, but I'm going to assume that the available 4WD low gears are to facilitate towing, which I did not test, not serious off-roading. Adding to this theory are the rear bumper and front fascia. They jut out aft and forward of the vehicle and reduce approach and departure angles to 20.9 degrees for approach and 22.3 degrees for departure. By comparison, the Toyota Land Cruiser's angles come in at 32 degrees approach/24 degrees departure. I welcome your thoughts on the issue. After climbing into the seats, and I do mean climb, of the Nissan Armada, we entered a luxurious environment of soft-touch leather and quiet. I'm 6'2", and with the driver's seat set for me, my adult-sized kids in the second row had more head and leg room than I did. They had so much room that they curled up on the 60/40 split bench seat and fell asleep for long stretches of our drive. Third-row passengers are not afterthoughts in the Armada. The second row seats fold forward and the ingress opening to the third row easily accommodated even me and fit 3 adults in relative comfort. I ferried 6 adult members of my extended family to a remote, riverside BBQ dinner, and the 3 of them who rode in the third row had nothing but surprised compliments and no complaints. Even with the third row up, there's still enough room for a golf bag's worth of gear or luggage. The infotainment system with the optional DVD player with seat-back video screens and wireless headphones worked like a charm, keeping the kids in the second row occupied for hours at a time. Gratefully, the system allowed my wife and I to listen to set radio or stream podcasts through its Bluetooth connection to a smartphone. I won't lie, the infotainment feature was number 3 on my list of reasons that I wanted to review this vehicle on the trip. The first 2 were passenger comfort and cargo space. One complaint and one wish: the system isn't as intuitive as I would have liked. We had to break open the owner's manual to figure out how it worked. And I wish the cabin had more USB ports than the one I found. Yes, it has 4 DC outlets, 2 of which we use to charge our smartphones with an adapter, and the Platinum trim has a 120-volt outlet, but still. With the third row seats flat, we had enough room to haul a week's worth of luggage and beer in one and still see out the rear window. By my family's standards, that meant we could probably fit a month's worth of gear in the back without having to resort to a rooftop cargo box or trailer. But if I did need to tow a trailer, the Armada could tow 8,500 pounds of RV, boat, quad bikes or personal belongings. While driving the Armada around the city, I made good use of the vehicle's 360-degree cameras, especially when parking in tight spots. The camera button on the dash allows the driver to toggle between the front-facing camera and the camera on the right front wheel, as well as a 360-degree view. I first saw this camera system on the Nissan Titan Pro 4X full-size pickup to help the driver avoid hitting obstacles when while crawling off-road. I didn't expect it to be just as useful in strip mall parking lots. Overall, the Nissan Armada platform offers a solid value for the money. Unlike Toyota, which only sells a fully loaded Land Cruiser here in the States, the Armada can be had in the base model SV4WD version for $47,800 MSRP. At that price you lose the DVD player, leather seats and interior, power third row seats and power liftgate, and towing package, among other options. A quick search online here in Denver revealed some dealers selling this model for $4,000 off sticker. People, that's a good deal. TFLCA's take. You may not want to drive through city traffic every day in the 2017 Nissan Armada, but as a cross-country, interstate road trip machine for a family of 4+, it's a sweet ride that comes with the bonus feature of 4WD and the ruggedness to feel confident about seeing where those dirt road detours and shortcuts can take you. To see how the Armada handles going off-road, check out TFLCA's Nathan Abman as he tackles Gold Mine Hill.